commence an investigation, which those people are demanded for, by saying, okay, a justice for Mohbad. So when you, ideally, and it was also contained in that preliminary report of the police, this kind of drugs, if you want to do this, you must place the patient in an hospital ward, for example, where if you check his BP, you check the oxygen level, you can then quickly, you know what to do at that point. The remedial steps that you can take within the hospital environment, but not within the home. Because if there is a crisis, you are not equipped in that house to respond effectively to the crisis. There is a reason why hospitals will attach you to a computer, for example. They can read,
monitor,
they can monitor. Yes, that is the point that we are making. And for me as a historian, I always like to go back in time. This is not the first time we lose a famous Nigerian in circumstances so similar.
Tell me. Oh.
Sherubawan, first executive governor of Osun State. Isiaka, the elder brother of the current governor, you know, they used to call him Sherubawan. Sherubawan ko Jawon Laya, you know, was very famous. He died in similar circumstances. I think, let me get this, 10th June 2018. It was an auxiliary nurse that administered injection on him, and he died. The nurse, Mr. Alfred Aderibigbe, yes. The circumstances were very similar. For me, when that happened, I concluded that, this was the way we lost that man. Oh.
Now history has repeated itself.
Yes. Adeleke died on April 23rd, 2017. But it was on 10th June 2018 that the Osun State High Court ordered the arrest of that auxiliary nurse. I don't know where they are on that matter. Maybe the families have decided to let the matter go. But Professor Lasisi, who testified before the coroner back then, said he died of drug overdose. Perhaps they didn't administer those injections in the right dose. So drug overdose may not necessarily mean. So now, for Mohbad, unfortunately, as I said earlier, because his remains had already been buried for days, the toxicology result was not conclusive. But from the findings, for me, simply reading up what the police said at that time, I know that we may not be far from the real cause of the death. You know, but it's unfortunate the death is now being used by celebrities who hate one another, you know, to harass one another, accusing this one of being behind the death. And I looked at the silliness going on, especially on TikTok. I'm saying, what's the meaning of this? What's the meaning of this? You cannot use his death to simply fight one another and chase clouds all over the place. That's irresponsible. We've lost a young man at 27. A generational talent, generational musical talent, and we are trying to politicize his death and use his death to sell cause.
Okay, Moji, let me come to you here. What's the implication of a subpoena, you know, issued to these key witnesses? The key witnesses include Naira Marley, Sam Larry, the nurse, the in-law as well. You know, what's the implication here?
Yeah, because they were the first quote unquote accused in this matter. You know, at a point, I think Naira Marley was outside the country, said he was on a musical tour. So he came back, presented himself at the police. Same thing with Sam Larry. You know, Mohbad was on Malian records, and it's been, if you've been listening to his songs, he's been singing about how he was being treated, how he wanted to be free and stuff like that. But people didn't listen. But then, one of the key takeaways from the death of Naira Marley, of Mohbad, is the unfortunate incident that happened during NSAS. You know, it took almost 9 months for the DNA result. The toxicology report, it has to be sent abroad because during NSAS, the most modern facility put up by Lagos State government, the Forensic and DNA Center, was burnt down and set ablaze. I mean, that cost millions of dollars to put up. So, and I mean, probably it will have taken just like a week or thereabout. Because
if it was still standing.
If it was still standing. And when people were raising issues that the toxicology report was taking long in US, they sent a report to Nigeria that, you guys should know that people are on queue. There are so many samples that are on queue, and that there's no way they can fast track that of Mohbad. So it's one of the negative takeaways from NSAS, and we are all seeing the result now. So back to Mohbad. Like Jide said, some of the results that could have been, some of the toxicology results, I mean, there was no way the potency of those samples had really declined as a result of the fact that the father claimed that he died as a Muslim, so he had to be buried almost immediately. So
not as a Muslim, as a young boy.
As a young boy, but that it couldn't just keep the body. So he rushed for the burial. So I think it took almost after a week or two before the body was exhumed. And there's no way, when things like that happen, it's always difficult to get the correct toxicology results.
Okay, BK, just in 30 seconds, you talked about history. It has happened before. It happened again. What are the lessons here? Take away. Just in 30 seconds.
Once you are, I will take more than 30 seconds. If you are, so that I don't deceive you that I say this in so short a time. If you are in that situation, the best place to go is
the hospital.
Celebrities don't want to be seen, in any of these public places. So they would rather bring a doctor to come and now you've seen that the nurse was not equipped to do that. And once there is a crisis, the hospital is the best place where an emergency, they can give you emergency care. The four walls of your home cannot make that happen. So this is a lesson. People, when you are ill, go to the hospital so that you give yourself a good chance of staying alive. One thing that we have seen is that Mohbad in death is a much more famous artist. In fact, he surpassed international superstars such as Nicki Minaj, Eminem, Lady Gaga, Chris Brown, 21 Savage, and others in terms of streams.
Yes.
Numbers coming from live streams. Yes. Yeah. He was, as at September 23, 2023, 46th best-selling digital artist in the world. And he secured a record with 6 of his songs on the top 100 chart. 6 of his songs debuted on that chart. He claimed the top spot as the most streamed artist on YouTube during the week September 29 to October 5, accumulating a massive 2.3 million views.
Oh, dear.
So this is money that we are talking about here. But it has come after his death. I just hope that his fortune will be well managed so that his surviving son can at least benefit from this.
Okay.
And I talked about, there's a song of his that I like, maybe because I'm a Ronaldo lover, and I named my second son after Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest scorer football has ever seen. And Mohbad said, if I dey play football, I go bench Messi, bench Neymar, bench Ronaldo. Timba fẹ́ gbọ́ mọ́ máa gbẹ́ mi náà do. No ṣẹpẹtẹrì, no ṣakúṣakú. Wọ́n lélélélélélélé
wọ́n rí o.
Abẹ́rẹ́ á lọ kọ́nà òkun tó di. Ó dojú àlàkà tó ríra wa. Wọ́n abẹ́rẹ́ á lọ kọ́nà òkun tó di.
Can somebody give us a bass and
I think I need to take BKO to the studio. You know, John Jazzy should hear this. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Let's go to our next story. The devastation caused by the flood in Maiduguri, Borno State, left us with the sad reality of counting the losses in the wake of the disaster. At least 414,000 people have been displaced, and about 1 million others affected by the devastating flood in Maiduguri, the state capital. The spokesman of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Manzo Ezekiel, said the death toll has hit 30 in the town's worst flooding in 30 years. The state governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, visited the victims and assured them of proper care until the water receded and people returned to their houses. Now let's share this story by TVC News' Jesse Tafida with you.
The Borno State governor makes his way through the flood waters to see for himself what is left after flood washed away the ancient town. From the CP junction, we went through the popular post office area, Bulabulin and Shahuri, Budum and custom areas. The devastation was huge, and the cost of what is lost is yet to be ascertained. The governor promised more intervention to victims and displaced persons.
It might be associated with climate change. That is the most important thing. So what we need to do is to now reinforce the dam, reconstruct the dam, expand the capacity of the dam, and most importantly, defilt the drains. Because most of the waterways were occupied by human beings. If you can remember a few years ago when I was sworn in as the governor of Borno State, I followed all this route and I asked people to bucket on the waterways. But unfortunately, people don't heed to our own advice. People build homes right inside waterways, thereby reducing the width of the canals. These are some of the factors that are responsible for the overflowing. But most importantly, we are witnessing rainfall, storm, that has not been seen in the recent years, up to 50, 60 years ago. So the soil has become completely saturated. So what we decided to do is to give 10,000 naira to each of the heads of household.
Thousands of residents are still stranded, unable to return to their homes. The government have also sent out a search and rescue team to bring people to safety. In this temporary shelter for the displaced, the government has given out cash and other relief items. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
Oh, those pictures really, really touching. But Governor Zulum, the Borno State governor, and other government officials, they've visited the affected areas. Now, BKO, how will this assuage the devastation caused by the flood?
I'm happy that in their moment of adversity, Nigerians have shown tremendous love towards our people in Borno State. And you saw some of the latest stories that Jesse filed showed even the governor of Lagos State and other governors, physically present. And we saw them even on the water, navigating through the water, trying to reach the people and show them love, show them support.
Sure.
It's unfortunate that this has happened, but there's really nothing anyone can do about it. I think it was NEMA that confirmed that about 30 corpses, have been recovered, because in the aftermath of this deluge, the cemetery was overrun and corpses began floating on water. So they have to do their best to provide care, limit the extent of the damage, because at this time people can't even get good drinking water. They have to relocate people to the to a higher ground, so that they can begin to pick up the pieces of their lives. People have to show kindness to other people who have lost their homes, lost their belongings. I'm happy that the governor has been on his feet. I'm happy that Governor Sanwo-Olu and others, the Senator Betara, they've gone there to commiserate with this, with the people. Because how do you look at Governor Sanwo-Olu there?
Well, I'm even impressed.
How do you?
Lagos had to go there.
Yes, going all the way.
That
because
shows
he's a brother.
Exactly.
Zulum is an immensely popular governor in our country because of his record of performance, and they cannot leave him. That's the governor of Adamawa State.
Yes.
Umaru Fintiri, the historian, is there too. You cannot leave the people to their fates at this time. You have to show support the best way that you can. And look, as I said, this is an international adversity. Nigeria needs to get help from wherever it can find it before the water recedes and the people can return to their homes. Even some of those homes will by now be compromised because some of them were literally enveloped by water.
Exactly.
So it means that it's even dangerous for people to live in some of those houses.
The integrity.
Because the houses could give way anytime.
True.
So I think there's a lot to be done. And the veterinary doctors also said more than 70 to 80% of the animals in the Maiduguri Zoo have escaped. Wow. Some died. I saw a video of an ostrich that had just managed to escape the water. I saw another video in which what appeared to be a lion was prowling the streets, and people were running. So it's a dangerous situation. Crocodiles now,
That alone.
and some animals that were trapped in their cages, some of them are dead. So this is a real, it just reminds me of the tsunami when it happened many years back. I pray that our response will be a lot better and we can prepare for this kind of problem, calamity in future, so that we can limit the extent to which our people suffer from it.
Majid, during raining season, we hear things like this. Okay, it happened last year, it happened this year, it might even happen again. Okay, and we hear also the same excuse, dam. Oh, if it's not Lagdo Dam, it's this one. Now let's talk about this. Is it about climate change or is it sheer negligence on the part of the authorities?
No, I won't say it's negligence. This is a natural disaster. It's like a typhoon. You can, although NIMET actually warned that 3 states will be hit severely, and it mentioned Borno. But this one was aggravated by the collapse of the Alua Dam, so to say, and also coupled with climate change. So it's a very, very sad occurrence. They say it's the worst flood disaster in 30 years in Borno. And you could see the casualties, about 30 dead and 414,000 displaced. So the federal government, through the office of the vice president, I heard the VP was there yesterday with 50 trucks of rice, and we've seen Sanwo-Olu and I know and the Fintri, they won't go there empty-handed.
True.
So help is coming, and from NEMA and from other places, but then it just goes to show that yes, we are our brother's keepers. When things like this happen, no matter how hard you prepare, there is no way you can prepare for this magnitude of this a flood. It's like it enveloped the whole state. So it's more of climate change, which is
okay, it's
almost
more climate change,
yeah,
not about negligence.
No, not that. There's no the magnitude of this flood is way beyond. It's like when the River Ogun, when they open it
Onyon Dam,
and Onyon Dam
and
Ogun River, when it opens, I mean it flanks. I mean we feel it as near as Isheri, yes, in Lagos and Agility. So when things like that happen, you see the water level coming up, and if you are passing through the Long Bridge, which will seem as if you are touching the water on the bridge. So these are natural things that happen, and there is little or nothing anybody. It's like the typhoons and hurricanes that happen elsewhere. So
or the tsunami.
There's little you can only prepare with there's little more any government can do to stop it. But just the remedial action, which of course is taking place, and people should be careful about the epidemics that might come after, especially the corpses that are thrown out of mortuaries and those animals and stuff like that.
All right then. All right, thank you very much. We'll go on this quick break. And when we're back, the conversation continues. It's still Journalist Hangout.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
It's still Journalist Hangout if you just joined us. I'm still here with BKO, Babajide Kolade Otitoju, and Majid Jamiu. Let's get back to the conversation. In a week-long operation, the Operation Whirlwind Task Force team of the Nigerian Customs Service has seized 20,100 litres of petrol valued at 18 million naira. The strategic breakthrough made across key flashpoints in Ogun State is the outcome of vigilance and precision of the task force in curbing the illicit activities of smugglers in the region. Now speaking at a press briefing, the coordinator of the Operation Whirlwind team in Zone A, Exit Hussaini Ejubunu, commended his officers for their unwavering commitment. In addition to the seized petroleum products, 5 vehicles used in conveying them were impounded during the operation. Now let's share the story by TVC News Ifunaya Eze with you.
The coordinator of the Joint Border Patrol Team, Southwest Zone Lagos, Mohammed Shuaibu, credited intelligence and collaborative efforts for the successful confiscation of 4,019 jerrycans of premium motor spirit seized across various locations.
Through intelligence, and some of them will get on the creeks, some of them in on top of the water, then some of them in concealed in vehicle, and then this is not possible without intensive patrolling. This will not be possible without intensive patrol, because if you have the intelligence and you've not gone out for it, you can't make the arrest.
Deputy Controller Shuaibu also revealed that smugglers continue to employ dubious methods, such as the smuggling of over 2,600 bags of foreign parboiled rice. Also intercepted were hundreds of bales of second-hand clothing, cartons of codeine syrup, as well as large quantities of pangolin shells and cannabis sativa. In all, the seized goods are valued at over 1.38 billion naira.
They use every means, because you can think of rice coming in from an engine of a vehicle, or coming from a boot of a vehicle, coming from a spare tire of a vehicle. So these are methods they adopt. And they do, apart from even that, that's what they call the first size, four bostom and whatever. You can imagine creating an additional body in a vehicle in order to beat officers, and we thank God we are always ready for them.
In a further boost to government revenue, the team recovered over 26 million naira through debit notes issued on improperly imported goods.
The more we do the anti-smuggling activities, by blockage, by whatever method, or by whatever instant loss we apply, it's making us to realize more revenue. And that's the reason for the swelling of our revenue day in, day out. So we are still on top of the game. We are going to be doing what we know how to do best. So if the smugglers are not relenting, we are also not relenting. And we are going to follow them up to where they are.
With the approach of the final quarter of 2024, the Joint Border Patrol team says it will continue to intensify its efforts to tackle the growing desperation of smugglers and ensure national security. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
Customs doing what they know how to do best. If the smugglers are not relenting, customs are not relenting. Now, BK, smuggling is a cancer that kills the economy. Yes. Don't you agree?
Yes, no doubt about that. Where people need to pay duty on imported goods, and they simply want to use the unofficial border posts to come into the country, that's denying the country revenue.
True.
I've seen tremendous work being done under the current leadership of the customs, led by Bashir Adewale Adeniyi. We can see what value there is to putting not just the right person in a position of authority, but someone who had passed through the mill. Because the last Controller General that we had was not a customs officer. Now more revenue is coming in. Look at the confidence with which Controller Ejibuno spoke, that we are busting these guys and revenue is swelling. So everybody is jumping in within the customs. They are happy with the leader that they have. It's one of them, and he was the longest serving spokesperson for the customs before he became Controller General of Customs. And you can see the breakthroughs being made, arms all at different times, smuggling of petrol being addressed. The rate at which petrol is being smuggled in Nigeria today, I don't think I've ever heard of petrol being smuggled to that extent. And the reason is not far-fetched. Not only is petrol cheaper in Nigeria than it is in the countries that surround us. Yes. The value of our currency means that when you take petrol that you bought here, when you take it outside our country, you stand to make a lot more money than selling it here. Some of these guys are smuggling petrol through the waterways. It's in fact, it's not only in Ogun and Lagos area. You go to the south, those countries, those states, like Cross River, there is a lot of smuggling. They want to take it to Cameroon.
Cameroon, okay.
You go to the northeast, states like Adama.
Want to take it to Chad?
They want to take it to Cameroon.
Cameroon, okay. Adama to Cameroon. Okay.
Yes. If it's Borno State shares border with 3 different countries. It's a peculiar state. With Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. So Borno State is peculiar on that score. There's a lot of smuggling that is going on. Even cement.
Really?
Cement, yes. Cement as well as food. So there is a lot of work that the customs has to do, and I'm happy that they are up for it. Look at what they've displayed. Smuggled rice being brought into our country. They are catching them. They are familiar with the tricks that these boys use.
Okay.
And they are beating them in their game. If you check, I said since the Naira went down in value, above 1,000 Naira to the dollar, there has been
a sudden increase,
a surge in smuggling of petroleum products, especially petrol.
Okay.
And the customs too, they've been very busy and they've been making a lot of breakthrough. So I'm happy. I just hope that this can be sustained, because we're talking about, our consumption level is the so million of liters per day. A lot of who calculates how much goes to smuggling? Who calculates? They are not using big trucks anymore. They are using these jerrycans. 804 kegs of 25 liters each. That's a lot. But the guys are not relenting, and I'm happy to hear from the customs man that, well, if they will not relent, they won't give us peace, we too will not give them peace. It's the Yoruba adage that says, the baby that says, oh, my mother, I'm going to deny her sleep. There's no way he too will sleep, because as the baby is crying all through the night, the baby too will not sleep.
It's going to be vigil.
So,
all right,
they're too waiting.
Majid, smuggling on the rise. But really, why have we not embraced technology to tackle smuggling? Or is it not possible?
Well, it's possible, but then we have very porous borders. Very, very porous borders. I give kudos to CG Bashir Adeni for this main feat. But then we still need to get onto the big smugglers. I once had to do something around the Ogun border. There's a border town from Abeokuta to Imashayi, Igonkoto, Ayetoro, Ilaro, straight to Benin Republic. 33,000 liter tankers, you see them moving. Then you see motorcycles, specially designed, carrying between 12 and 20 bags. They have been reinforced. 20 bags of rice. You will see them moving. I mean, in hundreds. That's basically what they do in that axis. They will be coming into town.
Not too, like
yes.
Katsina, those border.
So you will see those motorcycles.
Is the matter too big for custom?
Well, I think
they need more personnel.
They need more personnel. Then they need to deploy technology. Like you said, if you use drones, you see further. You can see these guys. But then these guys they don't pass through the conventional routes. I mean, you can imagine 804 kegs. Well, you see some vehicles like a 4-seater Toyota Corolla, for example. you will see the way it's been built. And you will know that, I mean, they will have almost like maybe 200, 300 capacity tank in that kind of vehicle. A vehicle that is not supposed to have more than 40 liter capacity tank or 50. You see them storing rice in some funny places, even in the engine of vehicles.
Okay.
So,
even under the seats.
under the seats.
Greater compartments.
Yes.
Look at solutions.
For rice.
Penalties. Should there be stiffer penalties for smugglers? Perhaps, death penalty or something.
But then, why I would not recommend death penalties? The ones that were sentenced to death, have governors found the lever to sign?
They have been on death row.
How can we have a situation in which about 3,000 people across our prisons are on death row? And the last time that a governor signed a death warrant was in 2016. It was Shomole. The governors we have now, they've not got the lever. A governor can order his political opponent killed, but to sign death warrant, no. He can tell his thugs to go and kill people, but he cannot find the courage to sign a death warrant after the judiciary has done its work. I mean, it's a crazy situation. I don't understand. The law is still there. And it says whoever takes a life will also have his own life taken. But if those who are supposed to sign death warrant refuse to sign, then those guys will simply be feeding off government
Perhaps
for the rest of their lives.
Lengthy jail sentence or life sentence maybe would help reduce this issue of...
But as long as the Constitution has not been amended, as far as our Constitution stands, the death penalty is firmly entrenched in the Constitution. So all it takes is find the courage to sign. The way Oshomole found the courage. Let's stop all this. But if we cannot come together to say, okay, in South Africa, for example, you go to life jail, no matter the offense, there's no death penalty.
Yeah, that's a maximum.
Life jail. That is what they've agreed to. Every society finds the right kind of laws depending on their environment.
Okay.
So if we still want death penalty, so be it. If we don't want it, then let the Constitution be amended so that the cowardice that governors are demonstrating, we know that, okay, we've taken care of the cowardice. If they cannot sign the death warrant, then what are they doing?
All right, BKO, let's move straight to our next story. Through effective interagency collaboration, security threats bedeviling Nigeria can be effectively tackled. In this regard, the Nigerian Army announced that its efforts in tackling crude oil theft in Niger Delta is yielding positive results as it commenced Tantita Security Services for the robust partnership towards curbing activities of oil thieves. The General Officer Commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Jamal Abdul Salam, stated this while inaugurating the new transit accommodation reconstructed by Tantita Security Services. Now let's share the story by TVC Ikena Amici with you.
Crude oil theft is a major crime here in the Niger Delta region. The Nigerian Army, in partnership with a private security, Tantita Security Services, have been succeeding in apprehending these economic saboteurs. Today, to further strengthen the ties between them, the General Officer Commanding 6th Division is here to inaugurate this transit accommodation reconstructed by Tantita Security Services.
The transit accommodation to be commissioned today highlights the impactful discourse of corporate social responsibility and the spirit of jointness. I therefore commend the efforts and contributions of Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited in achieving this laudable project.
The Tantita Security Services came in what was formerly known as the Old Army Day Secondary School has now been transformed and remodeled into a modern soldiers' transit accommodation.
This project has been a very interesting project. any project that is worth supporting that is going to become part of the development of this environment must be pursued with vigor.
Inaugurating the project, the GOC identifies how it will boost the morale of his men who are in the forefront of curbing oil theft.
Tantita is an example of such cooperation. We have had very good working relationship with them, and we still have such relationship, and we continue to do that. And you can see this project is born out of that good relationship that we have enjoyed. Everywhere operations are ongoing, and from what we have seen, the oil output has increased.
For the private security outfit, it is just the beginning of more collaborations as it tasked others to support the army.
This is the least we can do. It is not enough. We are also going to seize this opportunity to ask others to look at projects like this.
The accommodation has bedrooms, kitchens and other facilities. Ikenna Ameji, TVC News, Efrun, Delta State.
All right, partnership of the army with stakeholders like Tantita, you know, in the fight against oil theft. No, BK, tell me, do an assessment of this partnership between the Nigerian army and Tantita, you know, in the fight against oil theft and increasing national oil production.
You see, it's not just with the Nigerian army that they are non-state actors, but they brought them into the equation to help defeat these oil thieves. And when we, based on the facts available, no one can deny that our oil output has gone up. Even some of the worst haters of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because I see somebody post that there is no achievement that has been recorded. And I say, and you say no achievement.
Just Google.
The man may not have met our expectations in 100 years, but you can't say no achievement has been recorded. Now, come on, except if you are an unreading person. Oil output has gone up. We to go beyond. Even the OPEC declared that oil output has gone up to about 1.350. You know, there was a time when it was just 500. So we think that we can do 2.2 million barrels a day. The president has given Governor Hope Uzodinma, the Minister of State, Petroleum, Heineken Obri, the mandate go and ensure that our oil output goes up.
We meet our OPEC quota.
To 2.2. Because we've not been meeting our quota and we have capacity. Even during the Jonathan era, we were doing over 2 million barrels a day. Now, that is possible. If Tantita, the Nigerian Navy, and the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, because the Air Force has been involved in bombing the illegal,
some of the illegal oil sites.
They've been bombing them. But once they see this surface tanks where they put legally acquired crude oil, they bomb. They have been making life unbearable for them. We need the Air Force, we need the Army, we need the Navy to work with Tantita that has been hired to help boost oil production. This is not, there is no competition here in my view. As a Nigerian, I just want to see the trajectory. I want to see success demonstrated in impressive numbers. I'm not interested in...
but would they be willing to work together?
I think
the Nigerian Navy and Tantita?
It's not a big deal. If we put the country first, they will work together. You know, but sometimes the interest of the country may not necessarily be interest of individuals.
Okay.
So, but what we are saying is they need to work together. And what Tantita has done to build a shelter for the Nigerian Army so that those guys can have somewhere to rest their heads after I had this work.
Sure.
I think it's something that has to be commended.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
From the resources available to them, from what they get paid, you can see they've done their own corporate social responsibility.
Exactly.
Setting aside some of the money that they make from protecting our oil installations to invest in making that place a lot better. And look at the rooms. Who would not be happy with that? So we want to see greater oil output, but they must work together. There must be synergy between not just the armed forces in the South, where the oil-bearing communities of the South, but synergy with even non-state actors, like Tantita. That's what we want to see.
We go back to the issue of technology. Why have we not embraced technology to end crude oil theft?
No, it's not as if we've not embraced technology. What we can talk about is improve it. If you go to the naval headquarters in Abuja, you go to their situation room, they are able to monitor all the Nigerian waterways. In
real time?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is something that I saw.
Yeah.
And
they have that facility.
Even the creeks, they're able to monitor. So, but that is not enough. We can do much better than that. But it's not as if technology has not been employed. They have technology to monitor Nigerian waterways.
Okay.
Yes.
Even the NNPC has a facility that monitors leaking and burst pipelines.
But Majid, are you confident that the Nigerian security forces can end crude oil theft for good?
That's not a question I can give you a direct answer to. But then, if there is synergy, we can reduce it. But whether we can curb it totally,
reduce it drastically.
We can reduce it. But
so you're confident?
I'm confident that we can reduce. Especially this Tantita is a private security network that knows the creeks more than those. But then a synergy between them. Tantita has arrested several vessels stealing our crude oil in the past, and they hand over to either the Navy or the military, which later hand them over to the military police, and they are prosecuted. So there has been an increase in crude oil output since they came on board. But I think they are doing a good job, and this CSR that they have embarked on is a good one.
Okay. Thank you so much, Majid Jami. Thank you so much for having this conversation right here in the studio, and also the veteran, BKO. Thank you so much for having this conversation. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat of this broadcast tonight at 11, and join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
It's the Hunger Taste the Millions promo with 250 million naira worth of cash and prizes to be won to win. Buy any of the new promotional packs. Take one empty sachet of the Hunger 90Q pack or two empty sachets of the Hunger 50Q pack to the collection center and exchange the sachets for a scratch card. Scratch the card to reveal a unique code. Text the code to 1393. Promo runs from September to October 2024. Visit www.hungermillionspromo.com.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Tired of pans that scratch and stick? Or cookware that takes up valuable space in your kitchen? Introducing ShopX Gotham Hammered Copper Collection, the perfect cookware to upgrade your cooking experience. The Gotham Hammered Copper Collection.
You would normally pay up to 400,000 naira for the 10-piece Gotham Hammered collection, but call the number on your screen now or scan the QR code and get the entire collection for not 350,000 naira, not even 300,000 naira, but for just 264,950 naira. Incredible! This incredible ShopX offer includes one 8.5 inches fry pan, one 10.25 inches fry pan, one 1.4 liter saucepan, one 2.4 liter saucepan, one 4.7 liter stock pot, one stainless steel